It was Sophie Turner in the boiler room with a pipe and flooding and bullshit cliches that pad out this 86-minute runtime of this fucking fiasco. Who was responsible for this? I want answers, goddammit. Sophie Turner produced it herself. That explains so goddamn much. Trust was allegedly directed by Carlson Young, who did Upgraded. Oh boy, I remember that Amazon original. Kinda. It was alright, but it was so unremarkable that I probably would need to refer to my original review or my letterbox to remember anything about it. I know there was flying involved, I think. But anyway, she was also Brooke on the Scream MTV series. Who remembers that? Seriously, hands up. Who remembers that? Bex Taylor Klaus is in it, or whatever name they go by now. I wonder what happened to them. I actually liked them in Hellfest. Moving on, they're nowhere near this. This was also allegedly written by a human being, the writer of Stepmom. Yeah. The fuck was going on with this movie? Trust is an alleged thriller that basically involves Laura Lane, America's sweetheart, played by Sophie Turner. We see a brief opening of her as a troubled youth that is, trying to become an acting prodigy, and then smash cut to the fact that Lauren is now dealing with a scandal. A scandal that is going to rock her to her very core, so her assistant and a couple other people basically say, hey, you know what you're going to do? You're going to go to this Airbnb out in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, and you are going to relax. But it turns out this Airbnb is actually something that is a sinkhole of corruption. Also, she has a dog. The dog's fine, by the way. I just want to say that. I wasn't fine watching this. I drove 30 miles north because it was the closest theater playing this at the earliest time. Fighting through rush hour traffic, sitting down and getting a private screening of a film I hadn't even seen a trailer for. I knew that Paramount Pictures had something to do with it. Actually, it was Republic Pictures, a Paramount company, and Twisted Pictures that promised body horror or promised horror. I mean, we got horror. We got horror of a different variety. Horrifying in the sense that this film really had no business getting a theatrical release. I mean, I'm all for people getting paid. I'm all for films that maybe would not find a big audience, but I cannot imagine this movie making much of a dime. I paid 14 fucking bucks for a goddamn matinee ticket to watch this. 14 bucks. The fuck? So I'm going to knock this damn thing all I want. Because it's lame, it's stupid. It features three of the dumbest goddamn, criminals, villains, whatever that I've ever seen. Sophie Turner, by the way, who is talented, is given virtually nothing to do. There are so many illogical moments in this. What is Billy Campbell doing in this? I will say Renata Vega, my God, my word, with respect. And also Forrest Goodlook, who's in How to Blow Up a Pipeline. And I believe in Hell of a Summer. And he's a good, that's a hell of a goddamn name, by the way. That'd be a great territorial wrestling name. But Peter Mensa, who's in this. I mean, somebody from Mensa should have come on to this set and said, we need to figure out something else to fucking do. Because I know what they were going for here, but the thing is, this movie has an amalgamation of a few things, yet also has nothing. Nothing to fucking offer. There's, a theme of, child prodigies having to deal with their parents that want to use them as a meal ticket. That's just crumpled up and thrown away. There's, like older co-stars, possibly, treating younger co-stars a little bit wrong. There's stuff like that. There's people feeling that, there's a little bit of a stalker element that is totally just negated and thrown away. Sophie Turner, that is basically, it can't figure out what the fuck it wants to be. Katie Seagal is in this. Yes, and, Al and Leela from Futurama. Yes, her. She's in this. It's better than Torn Hearts. No, Torn Hearts is better. Torn Hearts is bad. Torn Hearts had something. Just didn't... It didn't have enough stuff that made me hate it as much as this. This was really, really fucking stupid. I mean, illogically bad. Dragged on despite the fact it was 86 minutes long. That's with end credits. This thing was excruciating. I nearly walked out of the theater a few times. I mean, I had a private screening in a theater that has not been updated, by the way, since 1995. And I'm not joking, by the way. For those that For those that don't believe me, I want you to Google the Cascade Mall 14 AMC Cascade Mall 14plex in Burlington, Washington. I want you to see if you can find pictures. And if you think those pictures are just older, no, that's actually how it looks. Nice staff. Great staff there, by the way. The staff had nothing to do with how bad this was. But yeah, forget one location shoots as far as in a house or whatever where you can move around rooms. No, this is pretty much just Sophie Turner locked in one particular room for at least, I would say, 40% of the movie. Possibly half the runtime. It just would not goddamn end. There were moments where I'm like, okay, we're getting to the end. No, we're not getting to that. The motivations of people just change like crazy. There are these stupid goddamn villains with even stupider motives. And this stupid goddamn, bullshit that just causes unnecessary violence. I don't believe that Sophie Turner could get out of bed on her character in this, not the person herself. And she is a very gifted actress. She is very gifted. They just didn't gift her anything with this, but if she's producing it, then, well, I produce a lot of stuff I don't want the world to see, and I wish I hadn't seen Trust. I'm not going to trust any movie called Trust. I'm not going to trust the word trust after this. Thank you, Trust. Why was it called Trust, by the way? There's almost no goddamn reason why it was called Trust. I mean, I'll get into that in spoilers. It's in theaters for a bit if you want to check it out. 3, 2, 1, spoilers. So basically the scandal is, Billy Campbell's Peter is the dad on the sitcom, and he's been nailing her. Getting to nail Sophie Turner wouldn't be the worst thing in the goddamn world, I'll say that much. But she is at this Airbnb, and there's this big scandal where there's this pregnancy test, this picture that was leaked of a positive pregnancy test. I wonder if you can guess who the fucking father is. It is Peter. That must have been very confusing, by the way, since Billy's character is named Peter, but you have Peter Menza on this. Peter, we need you on set. Billy Peter or me Peter? Billy Peter also sounds like a porn name, but moving on from that. We have Darren, who's the uncle of Merg. That is Forrest Goodluck's name, Merg. Merg. Who named these characters? I want answers. And I want you to be banned from writing ever again. And Marcus, Gianni Palo, who... seen him in something, I just can't figure out what. But Marcus basically has this Airbnb, but he also has access to the cameras and realizes, oh shit, he's a bit of a stalker of Lauren Lane. The fuck kind of name is that anyway? What kind of name is that? The dog, by the way, when a couple guys try to break into the house, I believe it's Darren and Merg, they end up kicking the dog, and the dog has a bad paw, and runs away for a bit, and we see him hopping around and everything, and the dog's fine. The dog's doing a good job acting. God, I hope that dog was acting. Hope that dog actually never hurt Paw. But they were like, hey, just act like hurt and everything and stuff like that. And Katie Seagal, her character Loretta, rescues the dog, takes it to the vet because she's a dog rescuer, in addition to working at a grocery store in whatever the fuck town this is. I don't know. It could be in Washington State. It could be in Oregon. I would say it's in Idaho, but there's way too many minorities for it to be Idaho. But... meanwhile, Sophie Turner ends up locked in this room, in this boiler room. Somehow she got in there, and I know how she got in there, but it's just trying to run for safety is one thing, but good grief. And Marcus arrives, by the way, but then ends up getting shot inadvertently when he's trying to stop Merg and Darren after his phone got stolen. And they realize, oh shit, we need to go here. And she's also been on the phone with Peter. He's trying to find a way to fix this to get an abortion for the kid, or abortion for her to take care of the kid because he's got a wife, but he wants to take care of her and give her a payoff. And again, this movie is simultaneously so busy, yet nothing actually ends up happening. It just took a few ideas, put them in a pot and everything, human centipede them together, and then shoved them up our goddamn ass. Basically like the Human Centipede trilogy, which still was less torturous to watch than this. I watched those movies back to back to back, by the way, and still, I was less angry after watching those, even though they're not great, than I was after watching about 25 fucking minutes of Trust. Maybe I'm just going to stick to the goddamn theaters that I'm used to and everything and not travel that far, because if I'm going to see bullshit like this, my God, this movie didn't even deserve to be put on a streaming service where you had to pay to watch. It should have been on Tubi. This should have been shoved on fucking Tubi. And I'm hitting my goddamn notes. So the dog ends up being fine, by the way, but before the dog, by the way, actually ends up, before anything like really goes south, she's calling out to the dog, Georgie, while she's locked in this room. Now, I believe at this point the dog actually had been sent or had gone away. Here's a question. Even if the dog was healthy, what the fuck was the dog going to do? Was the dog going to piss on the goddamn door so much, it's a metal door, so it would rust because he has radioactive or rust, inducing piss? And then the thing was going to crack enough to where she could basically break the door down and just get out. Is that what her plan was? Who thought that these character decisions was a great idea? The more I think about this movie, the more it climbs up on my top 10 list of worst movies, by the way. Just in case that wasn't fucking clear that I hated this movie. Nobody should be allowed to ever have any creative freedom like this if this is what creative freedom looks like. I thought Rosario was bad, and it was, but at least stuff occasionally happened in this. Any of the stuff that happened in this just made me think, nobody's seen a goddamn movie. There are talented actors in this. Billy Campbell's a great actor. What the fuck? Reese Corio, or Coiro, whatever. I don't really care about pronouncing his name correctly. I'm sorry. He was fine as Darren. But here's the funniest thing. This is after Marcus got shot. They return to try and take care of this stuff. Basically, Lauren tries to negotiate all this stuff, a way for her to get out of this room because she's trapped in there. And she didn't think to bring her cell phone or any of that stuff. I don't know if she would have been able to get in the room. By the way, this is the worst boiler room ever, because the pipes start leaking. There's a light and everything that has exposed wires in the goddamn wall, and she manages to somehow not understand how a rat got in there, and that maybe there was a chance that there's a way out. She kills the goddamn rat because she's disgusted by it, but because she's pregnant, she will not allow herself to basically just lay there and die. By the way, with all the stress and all the stuff she put in her body through, I don't believe for a second that baby would have survived, but I digress. She has a pipe after she kills the rat. She's trying to break out through the wall and stuff like that. And she's always getting stopped by brick walls and like, oh, no, when you could just hit a goddamn brick. It's not like that goddamn French or German or whatever movie that was. Whatever language that was, that brick movie. About the electronic brick wall that was around all the people. It was lame. Anyway, moving on. Basically, we have Peter Mensa's character, Croft, who's a hired PI goon for Peter. And he's trying to figure out what's going on. Merg ends up trying to shoot the bulletproof door, which hits Darren. He shoots it again, not realizing what happened, and shoots himself in the head. You see what? And Darren freaks out and decides to go to the goddamn hospital. And then Sophie Turner's trying to break herself out with the goddamn pipe. There's probably other shit that happened in this, not that I fucking care. But we also get flashbacks of, Peter getting close to her and stuff like that. And again, getting a chance to nail Sophie Turner would not be the worst thing in the world. But the problem is, they're also the actress herself, but they're implying, by the way, because his wife is, probably not going to be very happy she finds out about this, that she's probably pretty goddamn young. It's not a Seventh Heaven-like situation, but there are those kind of vibes. And the dog ends up actually it gets rescued by Katie Sagal's character, gets taken care of. She posts online, hey, there's this dog and everything. Do you know whose dog this is? She gets a bunch of likes. Why do you have, this actress's dog? She doesn't know. She leaves her job, her grocery store job, to go to the vet after the vet was visited by Croft with a bunch of money thrown at him. He's like, I don't want to sleep with the fishies and stuff like that. And then the dog ends up jumping out of the goddamn car after its leg was hurt, but I guess its leg was reset, and I guess it's fine. Whatever. Runs back to the goddamn house. Oh, great, it's like Homeward Bound. I don't know why these characters are so fucking stupid. But Darren, meanwhile, has freed himself from the hospital after being handcuffed. He takes a doctor's jacket and manages to steal a person's minivan. A guy, by the way, that was bringing his pregnant wife to deliver a child. So, great job, honey, we got that, but we don't have a van to take you home because some dumb shit decided to take it. Nobody has any security here at this hospital. And then, basically, the water pipe for the boiler room, whatever, is leaking enough, so now it's flooding, and she somehow has a hammer. She has this stuff somehow where she's able to basically break the door hinges off, and then it looks like, oh shit, Croft is going to end up being really, really vicious. He ends up shooting Darren, which is smart, and then is going to shoot Loretta, but then the door busts down and busts him in the goddamn head and whatever. Oh, that's it. Thing's over. Loretta doesn't know what's going on, but then Loretta gets taken out. She's not dead, by the way. I don't think she's dead. No, she's not dead. And Croft ends up chasing Sophie Turner all the way up into the goddamn attic, where she hits him with the goddamn pipe, and then he's trying to choke her, and she basically brains him with the goddamn pipe. This is after he had talked to goddamn Peter, and Peter, had called back asking if it's done, this kind of stuff, and she's crying on the phone. And we end up basically seeing that she feels her stomach, and the kid's okay. Yeah, the kid would survive all that stress and everything. I don't care anymore. The dog's fine. At least there's that. I'll give him credit for not killing the dog. Thank you for not killing the dog. How I'm going to feel about that movie, Good Boy, the horror movie from the dog's perspective. If they kill that goddamn dog, if that dog dies, I will not let the director hear the end of it. But, the paparazzi somehow has managed to show up, I guess, because they saw the tag of where that dog was. And she's going to keep the kid. She posts a picture of the pregnancy test and says who it is. And Peter ends up getting arrested by these cops because he wasn't supposed to do... I guess? Is it implied that she's underage? Or because of criminal activity? I mean, I'm not saying that it's not unethical and the guy should have been punished, but whatever, that doesn't really fucking matter. And then months later, she has the kid and has the dog, and the dog's fine, and the fame is good, I guess. Trust is terrible. I don't know why I went on so long about it. I only planned to do a few minutes, but then I just had more shit to talk about. F, one of the worst movies of the year. And we're nearing the end of August. If this is not in my top 10 still by the end of the year, I will be shocked. Agree, disagree what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritland. Until we pipe in a boiler room again, happy trails to you.